Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
This story takes place in Nederland, Colorado during the month of December in the year 1987. It is a time when everything is covered in snow, the air is crisp and filled with anticipation for the upcoming season. Well, it was until someone decided to put up a Christmas tree at the Nederland Elementary School. With this seemingly common and innocent display of holiday celebration, focus on the festivities came to an end. In its place rose a controversy over culture, individual rights, and the true meaning of Christmas. Or rather, the Christmas tree that was now standing in the cafeteria. But we won't start there. The story really begins a year earlier in October of 1986. This is the year a Boulder Public School Task Force Committee wrote a guide to follow for any future decision-making concerning all religion in the schools. The policy in the guide dictated the principles put forth under both the United States and Colorado constitutions that no activity in public schools shall be permitted which has the purpose or effect of advancing or inhibiting other religious beliefs or non-beliefs, nor shall any such activity discriminate between systems of religious beliefs or forms of worship. As a result, schools took action and immediately removed any reference to the Christian holiday, being Christmas, from all school activities. Even any reference to good old Saint Nick, although believed to be a secular symbol, was deemed inappropriate and banned from appearing in classrooms. That first year, a small group of parents pushed back on the change with the opinion that longtime traditions override any adverse religious connotation. One stubborn Santa, whose true identity remains a mystery to this day, blitzed through the school, tossing bags of candy into the classrooms, and then dashed out of the school, leaving ho-ho-hos echoing through the halls. But alas, winter break began and the drama was soon forgotten and replaced with more pressing thoughts and challenges for the year to come. When the time came next year, evidently a rogue Santa running through the halls was not in vain. Then student body president of Nederland Elementary Cody Dorfler and Scott Drew vice president presented an idea to allow holiday decorations back in school. Cody was quoted in the paper that week as saying, "Last year, everyone felt disappointed with no decorations. There was just nothing. We wanted to decorate the school." He also voiced his support of the suggestion made by then school principal Don Hansen to erect a wish tree the students could hang things on, like maybe symbols of world peace, as long as there was no emphasis on Christmas. After some serious discussion, more back and forth, and a vote, it was agreed that if the tree erected and decorations were non-religious in nature, they could go ahead with all plans. VP Scott Drew said he thought the activity would bring out a winter spirit that could be shared by everybody in the school. Principal Don Hansen simply explained, quote, "I was trying to be open-minded. I was trying to work within the gray area." And that gray area being the question of where is the line drawn between what all symbolizes the Christian holiday of Christmas? As it turns out, it was only a matter of days after arrival and being decorated with all of the little children's wishes This very innocent but hugely symbolic tree was abruptly removed. It had become apparent to everyone any tree within the building at this time of year would be considered a symbol of Christmas. When asked why he made the decision to remove the tree, Principal Hancock explained, "No matter what we called it, everybody that walked by said, 'Oh, a Christmas tree.'" He also mentioned a few parents and staff members raised the question of, why the Christmas tree? He went on to say, "Several people shared with me that they felt it was inappropriate to have the tree and that it was too obvious a symbol of Christmas, which is a Christian holiday. It blurs the distinction between church and state, which is a distinction that schools must maintain." In further defense of its removal, Hancock said, "We tried, but we can't make it work. I have to focus on what's important at the school, and that is academics. I have to stand up for what the Constitution tells us." With the tree now removed from the cafeteria and the adults still deciding what to do, the children were left only with the mention of plans to repurpose it outside, ornamented with food for winter birds. But first, everyone needed to weigh in and give their opinion on the fate of the tree. And I mean everyone. Irate parents organized not one but two emergency meetings that week to discuss the matter. One community member wrote into the paper to say, "The decision of the Nederland Elementary School to remove the Christmas tree from the school premises is an outrage and selfishly unfair to our children, whose feelings, by the way, are not a commodity." That week, George Blevins, opinion columnist and cartoonist for the Mountaineer, wrote, "It's not a comfortable feeling to be on the outside looking in. Whether you're a non-Christian child at Christmas time or a black person sitting in the back of the bus, it's not comfortable and it's not the American way, but it's something that happens in America." He also wrote, "Although we know many parents disagree with Nederland Elementary School Principal Don Hansen's decision to not have a Christmas tree in the school, we know why he made it. A school environment that is comfortable for all children is a school environment more conducive to learning." Within days of the story breaking, the Boulder and Denver media picked it up from there, and the subject of a decorated tree became the focus of heated discussions from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs. Longtime reporter of the Mountaineer newspaper Barbara Lawlor wrote, "In conversation with parents and elementary school staff, it becomes apparent that the tree is just the physical manifestation of a much larger and emotionally deep-seated issue. The rights of a tradition practiced by a Christian versus the rights of a non-Christian minority who feel they have been subjected to Christian practices in a setting that should be religion-free." Eventually, the tree was taken out of limbo and designated to a spot on the playground for the birds. School custodian at the time, Sue Leto, was assigned the task of repurposing it into a feasting tree for the wintering feathered friends, and she, quote, "busted her buns to get it done." Leto stuffed the branches with leftover hot dog buns from the previous Halloween carnival. So, even with all the tree's troubles, students laughed as they stood shivering, gathered around it on the windy, frozen playground, watching the buns flapping in the wind. The following week, Blevins again wrote about the tree. He said, "The Boulder Valley School Board is not creating some new law by taking away Christmas in the schools. The Constitution, a document that just turned 200 years old, guarantees the separation of church and state. We think the school board has taken a positive step towards correcting the fault by teaching kids that their religious rights are guaranteed by their country's constitution." This story is dedicated to Barbara Lawlor and George Blevins, both longtime contributors to the Mountaineer newspaper. And to all of the children involved that year, we hope every holiday wish you had came true. Information, quotes, and other facts for this story have been taken directly from the writings of Barbara Lawlor. You can read all of the stories, letters, and editorials related to this event by visiting our historical archives, available online at www.coloradohistoricnewspapers.org. Be sure and check out our show notes for links and more information. And with that, to everyone who celebrates, Merry Christmas. To all who do not, Happy Holidays. And to everyone out there, we wish you a wonderful holiday season full of good fortune and cheer for you and your families. I'm Cynthia Davis, and this is the Mountaineer Podcast. Thank you for listening.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak-to-Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.